don't miss.
I'm the Animast, and welcome to a special chain of events we like to call The Road to Halloween.
Throughout October, we will be reviewing 13 horror-based animes for your amusement.
Who knows? We might end up dead after this.
Yeah, of exhaustion. You're really implying that? Been through worse. Hey, you ready for the backup, Annie?
I'm ready for another Halloween special.
Are you?
She's talking to you, analyst.
And so, let's begin. Night 1. Frankenstein.
We begin this opening with this voiceover.
My name is Belbo. Chief Inspector Belbo.
Hi, Bill. Belbo. How's the Shire?
This report is the result of my investigation into the deaths attributed to the so-called Giant of Geneva. I have forbidden my publishers to release it until after my death.
Well, that's a shame. How are you going to know it's a big hit?
Well, if you know Frankenstein, then you know what happens next.
Now, before we move on, most people say that Frankenstein is not the monster, and it's the scientist. That being said, the monster can still be called Frankenstein, like a family name, or an invention or discovery. I mean, come on people. I mean, to say that Frankenstein's not the monster, it can be the monster, just like your father has a last name and you have a last name. I can't stress this anymore enough.
Zakel, hurry! We need the power now!
Zakel? What happened to Igor?
At least he has a better posture. After they clean up the mess, we move to a happy place.
After that, we finally see Belbo, looking like John Malkovich having a bad makeover.
As soon as the good Dr. Frankenstein returns home, we see his family and get to know him, and throughout the rest of the night, bad things start happening, from murder to going mad.
Zakel returns, and no, he's not recruiting for the Avengers either. Meanwhile, there's trouble stirring at the Doctor's household. Who could it be? Kids with clown shoes, or someone with a big footprint maker?
Dang those kids, oh my lord! Later that night, Victor gets more harassed, and some images we are going to minimize showing due to graphic content.
And guess who's behind the harassment? Zirkle. Again. Positively Shakespearean.
Meanwhile, John Malkovich is still on the case, while the Frankenstein monster goes out for chicken.
4 children, 3 goats, and a rather nasty massacre of poultry.
As usual, with any story, things get tense, and the creature finally emerges.
And breaks Zirkle's neck. Later on, John Malkovich finds the body, and we get some useless dialogue.
And more investigation occurs.
Dude, how far are we into this? I could die of boredom at any moment.
And we only just started this special.
The hills are alive with the sound of the... We finally learn that Victor Frankenstein was a misguided ass-kisser. This explanation goes on for roughly 1 minute, and then we cut to another dead body.
Gosh darn it! They killed the grandma! Sure, they say she died, but why? Is she bleeding?
The coroner said something frightened her so much that her heart just stopped beating. In other words, she was literally scared to death.
We then cut to a wedding where guess who crashes the wedding, and no, it wasn't Vince Vaughn or Owen Wilson.
And, as usual, the Frankenstein monster's weakness is fire.
Finally, John Malkovich catches up and wounds the creature. And it only took 47 minutes! Hey, Mary Shelley! I hope you're listening to this!
Actually, her grave's over there.
While the monster escapes, he peeks into the window, and their reaction is...
It could be a bear.
A bear? I'd better take the rifle and have a look.
A bear. A bear? How does that make sense? A bear doesn't do that.
Прикормили. Только потихоньку, блядь. Потихоньку только. Губками, вот молодец. Ну давай его дам, а ты, блядь, это сам.
After some of the plot thickening, the blind old man sees a visitor, so to speak. And again, not Vince Vaughn or Owen Wilson.
Do I have to ask? And yet, here we are, close to an hour later. He finally catches up to the creature, but gets knocked for 6 with a tree branch. Then the bear arrives, scaring the girl from blonde to brunette?
And a light-hearted moment occurs, and it goes on for 5 minutes.
And as in the book, the shit hits the fan and the townspeople start chasing the creature.
After that, a lot of retarded stuff happens, which was none of the monster's fault.
And everyone has a bad shot in this picture.
After multiple tragedies, cut to a scene where he turns to God and starts praying.
So the sins of the father carry on to the daughter, and it only took 1 hour and 22 minutes.
2 minutes later, someone actually shoots him.
You're shitting me, right? So in the end, the monster and the doctor end their lives in a double suicide, and an outro from John Malkovich.
And so the monster perished, as did his creator, Dr. Frankenstein.
So, Frankenstein, what can I say? It's not that I don't like it. It's just that it's more Shakespearean tragedy than horror. For example, King Lear. A horror is known for its extreme gore, violence, fear induction, or, most importantly, shock value. Frankenstein, however, raises more questions than answers, such as... what makes a monster and what makes a man? And what does it take to be human?
Even though it looks like it could be for kids, don't let it fool you. Like the monster, things are not as they appear to be.
My advice, read the book first.
I will give it my seal of approval.
Did you even read the book?
Unlike you, I also review it on its own merits.
Do you do anything to compare it to, say, the original?
Of course. I can also compare it to the other franchises. They did borrow elements from the book, such as the blind man and Dr. Frankenstein's family, and they've borrowed examples from, say, the Universal version.
Sure, there are some problems like the Frankensteins, wanting him to be around or not. You mustn't do it, Victor. Okay, creature, you can stay at my house. And people with poor marksmanship than the blind man Frankenstein.
I'll just say this. If you're going to do an adaptation, stick closer to the source material.
In my opinion, it was a really good good adaptation. Maybe with a bit of editing here and there, you could theoretically make it into a kid-friendly movie, or at least less horrific. Or just remake it into a miniseries where the monster is the hero, or something with a few horror elements to make things interesting. Analyst? Are you okay? Analyst? Oh crap. He's dying of boredom!
You might want to start his heart up.
It's worth a try. Claire!
Thanks, reviewer. Now get out, it's not safe.
Fine, be that way. Come on, reviewer, let's carve a pumpkin.
Good idea, Annie. I'm the Reminisce reviewer, and the horror has just begun.